Indeed, journalists remain at risk in many parts of the world. Earlier, we had a chat with the Executive Director of Journalists for Democratic Rights, Wale Adeoye. His organization is pro-media rights, and part of its focus is press freedom. He shares tips on how journalists can stay protected while doing their job.
Journalists need to be aware about the history of any study that they want to do. They must be aware about the history of any society where they want to visit. You know, if you are going to Bayelsa State, you must be knowledgeable about the history. You must have a kind of resource database. You know, the human rights people there, the police, you know, the NUJ, people that when you are in trouble, you can actually call upon them. It starts with the way you dress. You know, you need to dress very smart so that if there is danger, you should be able to escape on time. Then you also need to have backup. You know, for instance, if you have a tape, maybe you have about 1 or 2, so that if you record an interview here, then if it gets missing, then you have an alternative.
Good tips there. So that is the situation in Nigeria. But how free is the press in some other established democracies in Africa? Let's find out in this week's 360. Reporters Without Borders say press freedom in Tanzania is on the decline, with the closure of media outlets and the expulsion of press freedom campaigners. According to it, President Magufuli is intolerant of criticism and has openly defended one governor who invaded the radio station. Journalists are reported as saying they are working in a climate of fear and self-censorship. Meanwhile, Ethiopia is making progress. For the first time in more than 10 years, no media professional was in prison at the end of 2018. More than 200 news websites and blogs are now accessible, and TV stations can operate freely. A commission has also been set up to overhaul repressive legislation which was being used to jail journalists. This week's 360 roundup there. So what's your view on press freedom in Nigeria? Do you join the conversation on Twitter and send your messages to us at Gist Nigeria TV?